Hello beautiful and welcome to Coloring with MJ. I've been really looking forward to sitting down and coloring with you. And today I have a really fun tutorial where we're going to be focusing on pumpkins. Yes, today I'm sitting down to do my coloring video. It's actually Thanksgiving, Canadian Thanksgiving. So with all the pumpkin pie we had last night, I just felt like coloring some pumpkins. So I will tell you what colors we're going to be using today. We'll be using dark green, which is the 908 Prismacolor Premier pencil. We'll also use my mini apple green, which is the 912. We can't really see it anymore here. We also have cream, which is a 914. We have light umber, 941. Sunburst Yellow, 917. Yellowed orange, 1002. Orange, 918. And dark purple, 931. So I'm going to zoom in to show you what we're going to do. Okay, so now we're zoomed in and we're going to start coloring this pumpkin using only one color, our yellowed orange, which is the 1002. And the fun thing and great thing about Grayscale is you can use only one color and you will still get all that dimension on your page, because that grayscale that is already on your page is your first layer, so to speak, that is giving you the values for what you're coloring. Now, when I'm starting on my grayscale, I like to go slow. So I'm using really light pressure. I make sure my color pencil is nice and sharp as I'm coloring. This will help us get as much of the color on the page. And today I'm coloring directly on my coloring book, so you can see what type of results you can get when you color on your books that you buy from Amazon. Like, even though it's you can say thinner paper, it's still thick enough that you can get great results using your color pencils and other mediums. Today I'm actually not using a page between the page I'm working on and the next one, but I do suggest, depending on the type of mediums you're working on, or if you don't like it when you get that pressed. Right now I'm not using that much pressure, so you won't be able to see, but sometimes if you're pressing too hard, that will like show and maybe mark the page underneath. So that's why it's just like a good idea to use a scrap piece of paper. You can even use the test your colors page that I include on my coloring books. That way you'll be able to use that and move it around as you go, and it's like already in the book. You just cut it out and you can use that one. If you are going to be planning on using wet mediums, definitely get something thicker to avoid it bleeding through onto your other pages. But as you can see right now, I'm just using light pressure to start coloring this cute little pumpkin on this side. And you can see there's variations in that color, even though it's the same yellow orange throughout. We have some shadows already, some lighter sections. And like I said, first we started with our light pressure to color the whole pumpkin. And now we're just gonna be more precise And we're gonna be adding pressure in some areas. The lighter sections you see here, so there's a little highlight. I don't want to leave it white like that, so I'll avoid it. Then the other ones I can start, I like doing my little motion circles. And that just allows the color to blend and remove any of those little white sections you get when you're using your color pencils. It's just like part of the tooth on your paper. So just like I find doing these little circular motions helps us get more color down. And then for these sort of lines, I'm just being a little more precise, and I'm using like the very tip and wanting more pressure on there. Okay, let's switch. Let's do the stock over here. We're gonna use the light umber for that, which is a 941. Let's see. We're gonna again go light pressure. There we go. If we were coloring some leaves or some of those vines that come with the pumpkins, we're gonna use this dark green, which is a 908. And as you can see, it's finer details, so make sure your pencil, it's nice and sharp. Oh, look at that. It's breaking. The point is breaking on me there. And let's color this leaf. We can also, again, use only one color and get really nice results. So if you're using coloring, like sometimes you just want to relax and take it easy and have fun with it. Like using sometimes only the one color, it's fun and it's relaxing. It's a task that can just let you focus on what you're doing and help you relax. So as a beginner, it's just a great place to get started. And then when you're feeling more comfortable with your grayscale pages, then you can start exploring other combinations and mediums. But like I do like color pencils like as a great starting point. Let's color this leaf as well. So that was coloring that leaf there. I had to go sharpen my color pencil again because as we're working with smaller, finer details and we want to get all the color in, just make sure you're sharpening regularly. Now, for the second part of the tutorial, let's move on to using a color combination for our pumpkins. So if you're ready to get started adding more colors, this is one example you can do. I'm gonna switch up. Let's move on to the other side. Okay, so we have this other pumpkin on this side, and on this one we're gonna try color combination. And this is just one option for coloring pumpkins. There's obviously different ones you can try. We're gonna use, to get started, I'm gonna use the darker color first on this one. So, yep, we're gonna use dark purple, which is a 931. And something that I that I try to do as I'm coloring my grayscale pages is if I'm seeing a darker area for the grayscale, that's where I'm gonna apply my darker colors. Medium areas, I'll go with medium colors, and then on the lighter sections, for example, this one over here, we're gonna apply lighter colors there. So let's start with the dark purple. And again, my color pencil is nice and sharp, and we're gonna do like little lines because pumpkins have a lot of texture. They're not just plain, right? So we want to give it a bit of that natural texture that they have. And as you can see here, we have some areas that have the shadow from her dress that's coming down. So that's a dark zone. We're going to apply the dark purple there. And we're using those lines. The hatching. So just a bit of lines going up and down. And I'm not applying, I'm barely applying any pressure for it. I want my dark purple to build up as we go. If you're part of the Enchanter Emerald Forest Club, then you probably got the email I sent last week. Was it last week? About layering and the importance of building your colors. Just starting slow and with your lighter colors. In this case, I wanted to start with my dark purple because the way the pumpkin is and everything, I just wanted to give it more depth, and I wanted to start with it darker to measure it. So it's really preference, and depending on what you're doing, you may switch it up. I gotta say, most of the time I do start with the lighter colors. Just today seemed like going with the dark purple to give us like that base would be a really good idea. Let's see how we do. We're gonna switch now. And we're gonna add a bit of the orange, the 918. And we're gonna add it on top of the dark purple. Well, not exactly on top. We're just going on the same areas where we use the dark purple. We're again doing just those lines going up or going down, depending on the area we're coloring. Again, these lines will help give it more texture. And we're using the grayscale as our guide to know where we're gonna apply those colors. See, I am making bigger lines for this orange. It's going closer to the middle. So since it's a bit of a lighter color, that's why I'm bringing it closer to the middle where I'm seeing my lighter colors. Let's switch. Now we're gonna use the yellowed orange, and we're gonna go from the bottom where we put up all of our other colors, and we're gonna go up. We're going with light pressure again. I'm gonna bring it all the way to the center with light pressure. Like I said, we're just going slow with our layers. I'm leaving this area right here a bit uncolored because it has that sort of highlight there. So we're gonna focus on using other colors for. Now be patient. Coloring is a process, so take your time, enjoy it. How are you doing today? So happy you're joining me. And we're having fun coloring this pumpkin. Okay, let's switch. We're gonna use this Sunburst Yellow, and that one I'm gonna use it more for the middle. I'm not using just the lines this time, are going back and forward. You can see I'm holding my pencil all the way closer to the end of it. So it's really light pressure on this right now. And I'm gonna color over all of my areas on my pumpkin with that light pressure. Okay, we're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep building our color. We're gonna do more layers of our dark purple and more layers of our yellowed orange. And then we're gonna top it off with a bit of cream for those highlights there. I'm gonna speed this up for you, but the process is just going back and forth, adding those layers in. And as you can tell, we're working with the coloring book from Amazon. I do offer, when you buy the book, you can just send me an email with a picture of your book and your receipt, and I'll happily send you the digital copy as well. So you can print the ones that you like the most and you want to color again and color them at home. So, or if you want to use different mediums, then you have that opportunity as well. You can get your coloring book and also have the option to print out at home the ones you want to color again or in different mediums. So let me speed it up for you and we're gonna see how it goes. For this part here, you can tell I'm burnishing my color, and I am kind of blending all those lines that we did, just applying more pressure. I actually need to sharpen my color again. We're just applying more pressure now and just building that color, at least in this area where I'm not going to put the cream or the Sunburst Yellow. So if we know this area is going to stay with those layers, we can start doing that and just burnishing the color there. Let's keep going with the other areas. Okay, so there we have it, our pumpkin using these 5 colors. We use the cream 914, the dark purple 931, the yellow orange 1002, the sunburst yellow, which is a 917, and we used a bit of the orange, only a small layer, but we still use it, 918. Now let's color the stock on this one. We're gonna use the light umber and we're gonna use the cream. Now make sure, as you can tell, like it got a little dirty from mixing with the orange colors that we had on the pumpkin. So before you want to put it on other areas, if you're going to be using different colors, I suggest just sharpening that quickly and you'll be able to get rid of that. We're going to do the same thing. We'll apply a bit of both and we're starting lightly. I'll speed it up for you. The stock for the pumpkin with the cream and the light umber. Now, if you had more leaves to color, I'll show you what we can do. We can use the dark green, the 908, and we're gonna use it for the darker sections on our leaves. So again, we're gonna start light pressure for it, making sure our color pencil is nice and sharp. Another thing, like when you are when you are sharpening your color pencil, that just helps give your hand a break. You have to apply less pressure to get the color in there. I left some sections uncolored and untouched by the dark green. Some areas down over here, I added more pressure because I'm not gonna be, this is gonna be the dominant color. I will add some of the apple green to it. The dominant color there will still be the dark green. So now we're gonna use the apple green and we're gonna go over all of the leaf, getting to those areas. I'm applying medium pressure as I'm applying this apple green. Just going over all of it. We still want to add one more layer. We're going to use the cream just for these sections that are lighter. And I'm going way lighter on those sections right here in the middle for my leaf. I'm not adding that much of the apple green either, just slightly, only just the first layer, and I'm not really going over it a second time with my color pencil. So let's switch and let's add the cream, and we're gonna see what that is like. Again, I made sure it was like nice and clean. So yeah, when you're using your color pencils and you're using them in different sections on top of other colors as you're layering, just make sure you double check. You won't get a color you don't want in that area. Have our leaf. I was able to do a couple of layers using our coloring book. You can still get a couple of layers in there. Okay, well, that is all for today's video. I just wanted to focus on the pumpkins. I bet you're going to be coloring at least 1 or 2 pumpkins during this fall season, so I hope this is helpful for your coloring pages. The color combinations, you can obviously bring it to your line art pages, or use them as you're coloring grayscale, mixing it and just switching between the lighter areas with your light colors, medium colors, and then the darker sections, apply your darker colors. Thank you so much for joining me again. Make sure you like the video and subscribe if you haven't. I will see you next week. Thank you. Take care.